What's up, guys? It's your girl Jocelyn back after apparently 9 months. I didn't realize it had been that long, and I apologize. Um, but I was honest with you guys in both of my other videos and said that I will not be posting here consistently. This is meant to be like a journal entry for me, where as a new podcaster, I'm just documenting when I want to or when I have the time, because I do have two jobs, the podcast as well as my art business, a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. So this one is kind of like when I have time I record something, or when something is just like heavy on my mind. And that is tonight at almost midnight. Um so I really wanted to get on here because if you're watching this, that means you want to start a podcast, or you want to do some type of content creation. And I'm not saying that I am a guru at this. I've only been doing it for just under a year. But as I've been doing this, there are things that I noticed that, the people that are on YouTube or whatever, they don't share a lot of the stuff that I am sharing, in my opinion. Now, maybe there are some people that's out there sharing it and I just haven't come across their videos. But a lot of the stuff that I said in both my other videos, as well as in this one, what I'm going to talk about, I haven't heard anywhere else. And I think it would have been nice just to hear these words. So this video is all about your comments. Oh, really quick. So I know I usually record in my office when I'm doing like analytics stuff. Today, I'm actually recording from my podcast setup for A Girl's Perspective. Make sure you check it out because me and Jade are a vibe. Or don't. It's up to you. So your comment section. Let's talk about it, because the comment section can get crazy. So, and of course, this all depends on like the kind of podcast that you're going to start. Is it going to be more like entertainment purposes, like mine and Jade is, where we're giving like commentary on just like our lives and, what's going on in the world, minus politics. We don't do politics. But yeah. And of course, with that kind of podcast, people, you can rub people the wrong way just by giving your opinion, or even just by existing. So I really think, and I don't think I've heard really anybody else talk about this very much, but I do think that before you start, even recording the podcast or whatever content you want to make, you really, really, really should spend some time just preparing yourself mentally for what could happen in your comments. How are you going to react if somebody says something you don't like, or call you out your name, which has happened to me and Jade. The worst we've been called that I've seen, YouTube will, they have like some moderation that it'll just automatically do for your comments. And it will automatically delete those every 60 days. But you can review them to see like, do you want this to actually make it to where like the public can see it, or should you just delete it? And then sometimes they do slip through the cracks and make it to the public without being flagged by YouTube. And I think the worst we've been called so far is fat ugly bitches, which, okay, whatever. And also be aware of the platform too, because if I was to like, just pulling from Kanye, if I was to come up with a betrayal list, I think YouTube would be on it. No lie. Like, I like YouTube, but at the same time, that is where I would say 90% of our negative comments come from. Most of our positive comments come from TikTok. They just do. It's very rare that someone has something negative to say about us or what we're talking about on TikTok. TikTok is more of a, if I don't like it, I'm just going to keep scrolling type of platform. YouTube can be a, if I don't like it, I'm saying it and I'm talking about, yo, and I'm going to assassinate your character. I'm going to, talk badly about your appearance. Most of the times has nothing to do with what you actually said in the video. But I would consider myself to be somebody that has pretty thick skin. So while those comments might annoy me, they don't bother me in a sense of like, oh, now I think I'm ugly or something like that. And I'm not saying that you should think that or anything, but you should still prepare yourself to receive those comments, especially if you're not used to receiving those comments. You have keyboard warriors out there that, maybe they're having a bad day and they just decided to take it out on you. It happens. So spend some time with yourself preparing for that. One thing that helps me a lot when it does come to those kinds of comments, especially if we have a video where we're getting multiple of them, which again, we have a podcast called A Girl's Perspective. It is solely based off of our opinions. So you can only imagine how many people don't agree with our opinions. And, there was one short where we were talking about manipulative. No, it was a short where I had talked about an old friend that sent me a text message telling me like she had plans to go to a movie like that Friday or something. And then that Friday came and I guess she was expecting me to go, but she never actually asked me if I wanted to go. She just said she was going. So I said in the short, like, how was I supposed to know that that was an invite for me to go? And the way that pissed people off, and I was a terrible person. I was a terrible friend. I was just terrible all the way around. I think that was like one of our like really early on shorts. And yeah, most of the comments that was on that video, which it got a lot of comments. I think it was like one of our first shorts to like get over like 1,000 views or something like that. And it got maybe a couple hundred comments, I feel like. I don't remember. It had to been like January when that came out. But of those 200-300 comments, a good 80% of them were just like, you're a terrible person. So one of the things that helps me deal with the frustration that comes with that is having a support system. Whatever that looks like for you. I have, Jade. I have my friend Abby that I can go and vent to when I'm just like, oh my God, this is like, people are getting on my nerves. I have, some people use working out as a way to decompress and de-stress and release that frustration. Back when I used to actually weightlift, that was that for me. I need to get back into it, but when I did do it, that was that for me. I have my art that I like to do, which can be really calming for me. If I'm having a bad day, or I have a video that isn't doing well, or we have a video that we getting some negative comments on, yeah, I'll go and just spend a few hours in my art room listening to, some Stray Kids, which is the K-pop group that we love, which is these guys here. That's their little plushies. But yeah, I'll do stuff like that, but have a plan. I would absolutely hate for people to start a podcast or again, any type of content, and then It's like, yes, we all know that people can be rude, people can just be downright mean for no reason. You know you're going to get negative comments. It's inevitable. It will eventually happen. But when it happens, it tends to happen back to back because people will feed off of that. And you have options that you can do too. If somebody leaves a mean comment in your comments section, you can delete it. And you can tell YouTube not to ever show them your content again. Now, I'm petty, so I have resorted. I do comment back to a good chunk of these people. I would not always recommend that. But there are some that I don't mind calling them out. Um, I have called people out for leaving negative comments on things that just wasn't meant to be negative. We had a person comment and make we made well, we did, it's in the episode, but it got turned into a short where we were talking about bulldog ramen, which we were talking about how we wanted to try it, but we were afraid to because all of the flavors for it are like really spicy, and we don't really do spicy food like that. And a guy got into the comments and was like, if a white person said this, you'd be all up in arms. And I was just like, what does that have to do with anything? And no, we wouldn't. Like, if white people want to like chicken. Like, what why would I let that bother me? If you don't like chicken, don't like chicken. But it's like chicken has nothing to do with this ramen that we're talking about. So just be prepared for people to kind of just come left field. But I did respond to him, and I was like, you're making this lighthearted, just two friends talking about ramen. Because let's be for real, we're just talking about ramen. You're making this negative, and you're making it a race thing, and it's not. And then he swore he wasn't making it a race thing. I'm like, well, considering you're the one talking about, well, if a white person did this, black people would do this and that and the other, I'm like, you definitely made it a race thing. So I say all that to say, pick your battles, know when to respond, know when not to respond. But definitely some of these people need to be called out. And I don't mind doing that. So I have resorted to doing that. I have also resorted to telling them, because again, I can be petty. And I know that with the YouTube algorithm, if they engage with your content, whether that be liking it, commenting, even just viewing the whole thing, it will show them more of your content. I think the only one that it really won't is if they immediately scroll past it or if they dislike it. I think those are the only ones where they probably won't show it too much, but I haven't done much research on that, so don't quote me on that yet. But there are a couple people that has commented negative comments on our stuff, and I just said, well, I guess we'll see you in the next one since you felt that press to comment on our stuff. And I've been seeing a trend lately where people are making videos calling out their negative commenters. Jade and I will talk about negative commenters on the episode too. And most of the time we have a good laugh at them. So, but again, that's how we de-stress from that stuff. We will take it to our audience. If our audience likes us, they like the petty us. So me, Jade, and our audience, we'll sit and have a little kiki about these negative commenters. So, but again, that's how we deal with it. That's how we planned to deal with it, which is why I'm saying, make sure you have a way to deal with that so that it is not really impacting you mentally. I think a lot of people severely underestimate how constantly being told negative things can impact you, can impact your mental health, even when you don't think it would. So have a plan, have your support system, whatever that may look like. so that when you do get negative comments, you don't let it completely destroy you. You don't let it demotivate you or anything like that. And you can keep making your content because that is what you want to do. And you should. So that is essentially what I came here to say today. Make your content, just be prepared for negative comments because you can say the most wholesome thing and people will still have something bad to say about you. So now, also be prepared for the good comments. They will make you feel really good. We get lots of good comments on our stuff too. People saying that we're going to be everywhere soon. I'm hoping so because I would like to make some money from a girl's perspective. It's not cheap to make. And yeah, it's expensive. And doing that plus working my full-time job and my PRN job is a lot. So if I could make enough money to focus solely on that, it's a blessing. So yeah, just be prepared. Like I said, I want to make sure that I say the stuff that I'm not hearing other people say. Sorry if that is me swinging is distracting. I'm a fidgeter and I move a lot, so sorry. But with that, like I said, this is the setup here. If you want a little more of what this setup is, I can go through like the fake plants, the mics, which I know I went over our mics in the first episode on this channel. I went through like all of our like actual equipment, but I didn't go over like our bookshelf and like how I chose what to go there. I don't think I showed like our lighting and whatnot. So I've also changed quite a bit with our camera. We've updated a bunch of settings on the camera so that we don't have this like autofocus thing that we were constantly getting that was making our video quality go down. So I've updated that. I've bought some like equipment that would stop our camera from like auto shutting off because it was overheating and things like that. So I have made some changes to the podcast. I've also changed up how we formatted our structured our podcast. So like going from like, oh, we got these topics that we need to discuss to something different. So if you want an update on like that first episode on equipment and things that we're using in the episodes, definitely let me know. Leave it in my comments. If you have a specific question that I haven't covered yet, but maybe I've experienced, definitely leave that in my comments as well. Especially if you're wanting more frequent videos of me explaining these things, definitely leave that in my comments because my assumption is no one's watching these, which is okay. This is not meant to be a channel that makes like money, and I'm not trying to get it to get like hundreds of thousands of views or anything. I think the most views any episode's got like 7, and I'm okay with that. But if you are watching the video and you're like, yeah, I know she's just starting out, but this is helpful to get that honest feedback from somebody like as they're doing it, definitely leave it in my comments and I will see it, and that will prompt me to make a video to answer that question. Or I'll just comment, like if I haven't experienced it yet, I'll comment and say, sorry, I haven't experienced that yet, but when I do, I will make a video about it. Definitely leave it in the comments though. So like I said, if you want to see the setup, the camera and everything, if you want to know anything, let me know and I will respond. But with that, I will see you guys in my next one. See ya.